All right, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year to everybody. And we had a request in the comments on another video to cover some stuff about Larry the Legend Bird. So let's watch this scat video here. NBA greats explain what made Larry Bird a legend. Sounds like a winner to me. All right, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Basketball is a sport of skill, grace, and technical mastery. But in recent years, young fans and the media alike have become obsessed with raw athleticism and perceived physical superiority, as they have thirsted over players in this generation with eye-popping physical measurables, even creating the so-called plumber narrative to denigrate players of past generations and eras.
Oh, well, he was being guarded by plumbers and firemen.
This is
JJ JJ was so out of line with that one. You can't call Larry Bird a plumber or a fireman. I mean, I know he looked goofy out there. But the dude was efficient as all hell, and he could shoot the lights out, and he played defense.
is all, despite basketball quietly continuing to be dominated by technically sound, skillful players. With guys like Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan combining to win 10 championships over a 15-year span through the late 90s and 2000s. Steph Curry winning 4 championships in an 8-year span in the 2010s, and Nikola Jokic. Now,
here's something for the comments. Who's going to end their career with more rings, Steph or LeBron?
Now taking over the basketball world, winning back-to-back league MVPs before dominating these most recent playoffs, winning the NBA championship and Finals MVP. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic, at just 24 years of age, has amassed career averages of nearly 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists per game, as he has been named to 4 consecutive All-NBA first-team selections. Make no mistake, skill, mentality, and will translate to every era. And one.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watch Luka much, but the guy scares me because, I mean, you know his skill set, but he's got that Jordan killer mentality where if you set him off like Booker did, like he will own you for the rest of his career. Like he's got a psychopath gene in him.
One of the most skillful players in league history was the one who dominated the decade of the 1980s, a decade which boasted legendary players such as Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, Dr. J, Moses Malone, Dominique Wilkins, and Michael Jordan. But many of the greats would have you know that Larry Bird still stands shoulder to shoulder with any player who has ever laced them up.
He does. It's hard for me not to put him on my top 5, but the top 5 is getting pretty convoluted. But him and Magic, like it seems insulting not to have them on the top 5 of all time. But people forget about him.
This dude can play.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy, I think he was born to play basketball. Seeing him come in and making the adjustment early, taking a team that had won 20 games the year before, and the next year, I mean, they're 40 plus, and the next year they're 60 plus.
Well, Bird was again, one of the greatest shooters, champions, competitors to ever play in our game.
So we playing them in the last play. He says to James Worthy, he said, "You guys don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna go right over there that corner." He said, "They're gonna set a screen for me. We're taking the ball out." He said, "I'm gonna curl right over," and he's telling us to play. He's telling us to play before they even take it out. He said, "I'm gonna go right over to that corner and I'm gonna catch it, and I'm gonna shoot it, and I'm gonna tie the game or win the game, whatever the case may be." Take the ball out, the man curl right to the corner, caught the shot, shot a 3, game over. It's like, are you effing
kidding me?
This man.
That's how you know, like, at that point, Bird was so good, he was bored. He's like playing games and basically trying to get the other team to try, like, them to stop him. Like, here's exactly what I'm going to do. Try to freaking stop me, and they still couldn't stop him. Guy was that good.
Man is great.
Bang.
He can whatever you're saying for a man who can't jump,
he's demolishing everybody. He's doing it on everybody. He's doing it on the best defensive players in the league.
I have to give the edge to Bird. I mean, he can get his own shot off. He can get his teammates. God. Basically, what Magic did, he was able to do, plus be an offensive threat all the way out to the
That's when he was old,
That's
man.
An incredible asset. But Bird, that outside three, and they were both high IQ guys, but I got to give the edge to Bird.
Larry Bird can really, really play basketball, and he can play with any group of people. It doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, whatever, because he's so smart at the game. Larry Bird was the smartest player I played against.
Like he was he was a savant on the court, like just a savant, like 2 plays ahead on everything. And so I was just talking about this maybe 3 or 4 days ago, how hard it was to go into Boston and beat a team when Bird is in his prime.
But when I had a chance to...
Yeah, man. Bird, if he didn't injure his back, I mean, you're seeing all these highlights. He put his body on the line every single game. And the unfortunate thing about that, his career didn't last nearly as long as it should have. But like by the time they were in the 92 Barcelona Olympics, like the guy could barely play because his back was just busted up. But if he didn't injure his back, so early on, we would be talking about him being, a GOAT contender.
Play against Larry Bird. And there's only, I can count on one hand the type of guys like him that you had to be totally focused in on, because if you didn't, he would embarrass you.
If you're still not convinced, look no further than the book When the Game Was Ours. In it, Michael Jordan discusses where he personally ranks Larry Bird all time, ranking him as the greatest forward of all time. Whether that...
Ooh, that's interesting. I might have to give it to him. It's hard though, man. Because you got Tim Duncan and you got LeBron. I mean, to play the forward position properly, it's hard. It's hard.
That is designating him as a small forward or a power forward. It is not surprising that Jordan, who many rank as the undisputed GOAT, is so high on Larry Legend, seeing as how Michael Jordan had just an 11-23 record in 34 career games head-to-head against Larry Bird.
Yeah, the only people who had success against Bird, not even want to call it success, but could kind of level the playing field, was Magic Johnson, and then I guess you could say Dr. J. They were the rivals in the East with the Sixers. But Jordan was a young buck at that time and had no help. And dude, Larry Bird and the Lakers, that team just owned the Bulls.
For some reason in this era, the most notable traits and attributes of basketball players has become their size, speed, and vertical leap. But when you look back throughout the annals of NBA history, all the way up to present day, it's pretty undeniable that skill and will always win out over physical prowess. And there was perhaps no greater combination of those elements than Larry Bird.
Can you guys imagine if Larry Bird had the athleticism of a LeBron James? Game over, man.
Which is why his peers and even great players in the modern eras still think so highly of him.
Oh, man.
Like, he can get anywhere he wants to be and shoot over smaller players, and he was one of the most crafty players the game has ever seen. So I think his game translates to any time period.
For young guys that don't know him, they think of Larry Bird as a jump shooter.
No.
But he was so much more than that. He was a passer. He averaged double-digit rebounds. He defended, he took charges. And
look at that! Look at that!
He's a straight-up complete basketball player.
Hell yeah! Somebody texted me after the game and showed me a screenshot, and I was giddy like a little kid. I mean, grew up watching Larry Bird, and you grew up kind of knowing the legend of Larry Legend, and so to be amongst the greats. That's all you really want to do. That's a great accomplishment.
Larry Bird dominated stretches of the 1980s, and it's a pretty reasonable bet he would be able to dominate any era in basketball history.
Yeah, oh yeah, he can still play these days if he was young.
And it's been nothing but a learning experience. I've been very grateful to the NBA for everything that they've done for me. No, playing having the ball in your hands and.
I mean, he was a good coach too. When he coached Indiana, he made them into a contender every single year with Reggie Miller and Mark Jackson and all them.
Yourself mentally prepare for each game. That was the ultimate.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Dude, that was a fun one. I like that. All right, let's shoot out a couple things down in the chat because the comment sections have been really fun in these videos, and I've been trying to be as active as possible. So, first of all, Bird or Magic, who you got? Because that was one hell of a rivalry. And then two, who is your GOAT as far as forward position? Like who played the forward position the best in NBA history? Because it's hard not to put him in there, but it's also hard not to put guys like Tim Duncan. Some people might put Scottie Pippen, you know, and LeBron, of course. So let's shoot it out in the comment section, everybody. I want to thank everyone for your support. So far, the channel's growing, and I'm really having a good time. So happy New Year's, everybody. I'm going to do what I usually do and link the, Scap's video down below. Give him some love, give him some support. And yeah, happy New Year. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.